You've probably heard people say dogs don't hold grudges, that they forget quickly, that a few minutes is all it takes for any mistake to be forgiven. But what if I told you that's not entirely true? There are small moments, tiny ones, that humans see as harmless, but to a dog they can cut deeper than you think. Not as hatred, not as anger, but as tiny cracks in trust, in their sense of safety, in the way they see you as their whole world. And those cracks don't always disappear. Most owners never realize when they've crossed one of those invisible lines. Because dogs don't yell, they don't complain, they don't walk away, they just go quiet, pull back slightly, avoid your eyes just a little. But inside, they remember. Today, you'll discover 6 things that most dogs never forget, moments that can hurt their loyal hearts deeply, even if you didn't mean to. If you love your dog like family, these are truths you need to know, so you don't accidentally hurt the one creature whose only wish is to trust you and be loved in return. Section 1. Punishing their fear. Signals. When a dog is afraid, they have no way to say, "I'm scared." They can't ask you to stop. Can't explain that their little heart is overwhelmed with anxiety. Instead, they give subtle signals that only someone who truly cares will notice. A lowered head, a tiny step backward, ears down, or a soft growl. Not aimed at you, but at a fear they don't know how to process. But when those signals are punished, when you scold them for trembling, when you yell because they hid behind a chair, when you yank the leash because they growled out of panic, to them, it's not just being disciplined. It's the feeling of, even when I'm scared, I'm not safe with you. A dog might forget a stolen treat, but they don't forget the moment their fear was treated like a mistake. And the saddest part is, punishing fear doesn't stop the fear. It only stops their belief that you'll protect them. So if your dog ever shakes or hides behind your legs, remember, it's not bad behavior, it's a small cry for help. And how you respond in those moments is something they'll carry for a long time. Section 2. When the crate becomes a prison. Not a safe den, a crate can be the coziest, safest place in the world to a dog. A little nook to rest, to retreat, to calm themselves in a noisy environment. For many dogs, a crate feels like their own bedroom. But that same crate can become a place they never forgive if it turns into punishment. When you shut the crate door after they misbehave, they don't understand. They don't know they're being disciplined. All they feel is, "I was scared, and now I'm locked away alone." That moment creates a crack you can't see, but they feel deeply. The crate loses its safety. It becomes a space that smells like stress, sounds like a racing heart, feels like abandonment. And once that memory sticks, it's hard to undo. They'll avoid the crate you lovingly prepared. They'll step in and step right back out. Or they'll lie outside it, looking at it like a place that once hurt them. Not because they hold a grudge, but because they remember how it felt. A crate is only a safe den when it always stays that way. No punishment, no angry slamming of the door, no training disguised as isolation. Let the crate always be the place they choose to go when they need peace, not a place they fear because they once cried inside. Section 3. Punishing natural instincts. There are things your dog does that might look like bad behavior, but to them, it's just life. Digging, barking, chewing, sniffing everything. These aren't defiance. They're instincts they were born with, things they can't simply turn off because we want them to. But when those instincts are scolded, yanked, punished, dogs don't understand. This is not allowed here. They understand. I did something natural, and it made you mad. At that moment, you stop being a partner. You become unpredictable, sometimes kind, sometimes angry. And that unfairness is what they remember the most. Dogs remember emotions more than actions, and the feeling of being punished for instinct leaves a ripple in their trust. The better path isn't suppression, it's redirection. You want them to stop digging? Give them a place where they can dig. Want them to stop chewing? Offer something they're allowed to chew. Want less barking? Teach them when it's time to calm down. When you lead instead of punish, you do more than teach better behavior. You teach them, you understand me, and you're fair. Section 4. Ignoring their pain signals. Here's something most people don't realize. Dogs don't show pain the way humans do. They don't cry all day. Don't whimper non-stop. Don't demand your attention. Dogs are terrifyingly good at hiding pain, and that silence leads many owners to overlook important signs. A dog licking one leg over and over, a missed jump, a slow walk down the stairs, a subtle flinch when you touch a certain spot. These are never random. They're how your dog says, "I'm hurting, and I hope you notice." But when those signals are ignored or dismissed as weird, dramatic, or fake, they leave behind something powerful: the sense that their pain doesn't matter to you. According to the AKC, one of the most emotionally damaging things for a dog is when their owner doesn't notice they're in pain. Not because it hurts more, but because they hurt alone, and that's something they don't easily forgive. Section 5. Yelling or sudden anger. Outbursts. Humans have rough days, bad moods, moments where we snap. But to a dog, those bursts of anger aren't just loud noises. They're lightning bolts that strike the very safety they count on. Dogs don't remember the words you say. They remember the emotion behind your voice. One harsh snap, one moment you shout louder than usual, one sentence said with sharp coldness. These leave your dog startled, shrinking back, staring at you with eyes you never want to see, eyes that ask, "What just happened to the person I trust?" Psychology Today reports that dogs retain negative emotional memories for a long time, not because they're mad at you, but because it takes time to feel safe again. They forgive your exhaustion, but your unexpected anger? They remember. Section 6. Waking them abruptly from deep sleep. Dogs dream, just like humans, and when you shake, push, or startle them awake during deep sleep, their brain can confuse dream panic with real-world danger. One wrong touch at the wrong time, and for a second, you, their safe place, become a threat. They're not angry at you, but that shock plants a tiny thorn in their memory. Instead of grabbing or nudging a sleeping dog, try softly calling their name, making gentle sounds, or letting them wake naturally. That softness tells them something vital. Even when you're unconscious, I'm gentle with you, and that means more than you realize. Bad's deepest wounds in a dog's heart aren't from yelling or losing a favorite toy. They're from our unpredictability. One day you let them on the couch, the next you scold them for it. One day you laugh and hold them close. Another day you walk past like they're invisible. That inconsistency doesn't cause anger, it creates insecurity. According to the Journal of Veterinary Behavior, inconsistency is one of the fastest ways dogs lose trust and one of the hardest to heal. Dogs don't need you to be perfect. They just need you to be steady, to be the same person every day, to show them, no matter what you do, I'm still me. Dogs don't hold grudges the way humans do, but they do remember the moments that shook their little hearts, the times they were scared and no one comforted them, the times they were hurting and no one noticed, the times your anger crashed down on them without warning. And like people, those moments aren't remembered for blame. They're remembered as reminders that love isn't just in treats, toys, or praise. Love is in patience, in gentleness, in the way we choose to respond in the hardest moments. If you're watching this video, it means you care enough to want to do better. And to a dog, that means everything. So look at them a little longer, listen a little closer, and love them in the language they understand best. Slowly, steadily, without change. Because to them, you're not just an owner. You are the safest place they'll ever know in this short, beautiful life.